having a growth mindset. And then we went into data analysis, and today we're gonna focus on data process, and then identifying our trends with our third graders here. Okay, so I'm gonna forward it a little bit. Okay, so this is what Sul-Ross University kind of bases our practicum as principles and how to make sure that we're using the data process correctly amongst schools. So the data process starts in the foundation, which is the data research. And when we're talking about foundation, we're talking about our assessments. We're talking about the common assessments, STAR. We're looking at informal assessments that you do in classroom when you're kind of like quickly, oh, let me do an exit ticket. Let's see who got it, who didn't get it. Okay, so the foundation really starts in how do we collect the data. And then after we collect data, and we've been doing it here at Mesita, is we're gonna look at the student learning problem. What is it that I really need to focus to get to, figure out the needs of the students. And then a big part of our committee with the third grade is the causes. Like if we see a specific area where we say, oh, the kids, everybody bombed that TEK. Okay, we're gonna talk about why. Is it because Eureka doesn't give us enough resources? Is it because you're using a different scaffold than Ms. Zamora, and kind of share ideas of why, and then figure out the solutions. Okay, so after we figure out the why the kids didn't do that great in that area, we're gonna generate solutions. We're gonna focus on some of the resources that we do use already at Mesita, extra resources that I've researched all this summer, and then plus any extra things that you guys have in your toolbox. I mean, we're gonna share how do we find the solutions. And then the last one, of course, is where we're gonna see the results. So the goal is that if we go through the data process with our meetings at STAR, that's where we're gonna see the results, okay? All right, so, can I go to my next one? So, really quick. So I was looking at our data for our student demographics from 2021, 21, 22, 23, using what we call the TAPER report. Have you guys ever heard of a TAPER report? So what they do is, as a campus, and actually it's a district, and from the district it's a TEA report. So what TEA does is, you know how they grade us on the A through F accountability program, ¿verdad? So what they do is every year, at the end of the year, TEA captures all our data for STAR, demographics. They even go into depth about knowing teachers, like how many teachers are qualified, how many teachers are here on a waiver, how many subs do we have, how many long-term subs. So they really look at all those impacts in the students' data, okay? So this report, what it does is, it kind of chunks everything in groups. So this one, I want you guys to get your highlighter, and I want you to highlight how many kids did we have for each school year?
But this is all together, right?
Yes, so this was when Mesita and ECDC were together, okay? This year, our data is gonna look a little bit different because instead of having the 900 students that we've always had, it's gonna be down to what, like, I think we were 545 now. So our data and our percentages, they're gonna be different this year, okay? So go ahead and highlight how many kiddos did we have in each of the 3 consecutive years. When I did this report in the summer, our 23-24 wasn't up yet because it takes a couple of years to really gather the information that's on this big report. Okay, so this is as far as I got. But highlight how many students we have, and then I want you to look, where is our majority? Okay, each one of these shows our subgroups. Hispanic, so go ahead and highlight your lines for Hispanic across all three years. So that's our biggest group, right? Okay, where's our second biggest group?
Economical disadvantage, and then you have the at-risk.
Very good. So we have the Hispanic, which is a big group, right? 87% of our kiddos are were labeled Hispanic or coded Hispanic in this year. 86. So if you notice the trend, más o menos, we always have the same percentage, right? And then you said which one's the other one?
In Title I, you have a.
Yes. Okay. Does everybody know why we have so many? well, we're considered a Title I campus. Remember? A few
Everybody
years,
is now.
yeah, before COVID, we were not a Title I. That's why kids during lunchtime, they had to pay. We had a lot of kids that had to pay their lunch or bring their lunch because we were not Title I. During COVID, something happened within the district that I believe most of the district became a Title I district. So a lot of our campuses are Title I. Okay, so that's why all the kids that are present, you're gonna see, we're a Title I, so they're all coded, Title I, that code. Okay, so then which one was the other one you said?
Economical.
Very good.
Disadvantage.
So let's highlight that one. So the economically disadvantaged, okay, and then again, look at the pattern, what do you guys notice? Look from 2020 all the way to now, well, the last one that we have, 2023.
Well, the numbers went up.
Very,
on the
yeah.
economical ones.
Our students here at Mesita, our population is shifting. So we started with 57% of our kiddos are economically disadvantaged. 2 years ago, we jumped all the way to 69%, which I wouldn't doubt it. This probably last year's taper report is probably gonna show that our numbers are increasing. And we see it, where do we see it? Where do you guys think we're seeing most of those kiddos at?
In the WOW.
In the WOW program, in the WOW. And the WOW program, and then also in our GT classes, that because we still have a lot of emergent bilinguals. I know some of you have like 7, 8. I know up in 5th grade, this is where we have the most emergent bilinguals in the WOW and the GT classes. Okay, so I want you guys to find, where are the emergent, oh, let's go highlight also the GT kiddos, our gifted and talented. And look for the emergent bilinguals.
The English learners?
Yeah, the English learners. So we're always changing the title, ¿verdad? A few years ago, no les llamábamos emergent bilinguals, they were our ELLs. And then they said, no, let's not use that term no more. Now we're gonna call them emergent bilinguals, but they're the English learners.
And before it was a level.
Right? So, but it's the same subgroup.
Just change it.
Yeah, but it's the same group. And then again, look at the trend. What happened in the last 3 years? What do you guys know? Again, we're increasing, right? So increasing. So every year we're starting to get,
But you pay attention, it's 42, 43, 44%, it's very much steady.
Yeah.
It's not, there is not like much change.
No, because even though it's like a small amount of number of students, they're still increasing. Like here, how many students? From 397 to 45, what is that? 8.
And
And
here,
then-
are 10.
10. And then I know this school year, actually, we had a big influx of students coming in from other countries and different, not just the Mexican culture, you know, just like in the board. Okay, so I want you to go ahead and put just right here at the bottom, make a quick statement about the emergent bilinguals. What do we notice in the trends? Which is our English learners. So when we start looking at data, I really want you guys to focus on those groups, on our gifted and talented, on our English learners, our Hispanic subgroup, and then we said the economically disadvantaged. So we're not just looking at Mesita as a whole, because let's be realistic, not everybody's gonna learn the same way. Even though we do that first TEAC or that first explicit instruction, they're not all coming from the same background or the same race or the same ethnicity. Okay, so go to the next one, and on here, I was able again to collect data. This one, what I did is I wanted to collect data across our grade levels. So if you'll notice on the top here, this is for reading. Again, we have 3rd, 4th, 5th, so 3rd is the blue, 4th is the orange, and 5th grade is the green. Okay, that's for reading, and then over here we have for science, of course, just 5th grade. And then for math. So I want you guys to look at your grade level, at 3rd grade.
The blue, right?
Which is a blue. Ms. Gallardo, you were a 3rd grade teacher last year, ¿verdad? Or 4th? Last year in 3rd?
And this is last year, right?
Well, this is 2 years ago, not last year, the year. Yeah. I'm hoping, maybe when the next few weeks, I don't know how long it takes, that we can see, the 23-24. Because like I said, these reports are like the official district reports, and they take a while to come out. So what do you notice with third grade compared to fourth, compared to fifth? And we can focus on reading first.
But that's not fair to compare us with fifth grades, cause they have several opportunities to pass the test, and we have only one. That's not fair, you know what I'm saying?
No, they only have one opportunity to take the
But
test.
what about the ones that they don't pass the test?
They don't pass.
Not anymore?
Oh no, it's been like that since, for sure after COVID. Yeah, if the kids don't pass the test, they didn't pass. What we do now is we offer that SSI tutoring in the summer, but that's it. Before yes, what was it, 7 years ago, they had 3 opportunities. So if they didn't pass it, the first one, the second, and then the third. No, not anymore, no, inside, since COVID, I think actually right before COVID, like maybe 2 years, 2017. Yeah, so this is data looking at, they only had one chance to pass it. So what do we notice with the reading?
Estamos bajos, or
Mhm.
lowest,
Mhm.
the lowest.
Okay, and then
For reading.
math?
Math, we're the same with fourth grade.
Uh-huh. So third and fourth, about kind of the average, right? Okay, so when we look at data, we look at it by grade level, because every grade level is different, right?
But we had more students mastering the reading than fourth grade.
Ah, okay,
Ah.
yes.
Tenemos que ganar una.
Yes. See. Yeah, you're right. So those kids that got math, yeah, you're right. And we got more masters in third grade than in fourth. Okay, so just thinking about this, what do you think are some reasons that our third grade data looks lower than fourth and fifth?
Well, I think it's
substitutes.
Okay.
Bueno, eso could be one of the reasons, but I also think that it's the first time they're taking it. So they're not, it's their first experience. Like, I think that's the big deal.
Yes, and I'm gonna agree with you. When I was doing the research, I thought, you know what, third grade is the first year that they ever take a big test like STAR. And I mean, unfortunately, a lot of them don't have experience with taking a test. You know, we kind of build them up for the STAR because that's the one that
And not
counts.
only that, also we're getting a lot of kids that they don't, in third grade, that they don't know how to read.
So
So in order for the
non-readers.
third grade teacher to close the gap on reading, writing, all those basic skills that they need, plus the skills that they need to pass the STAR test, it's a lot. I mean, it doesn't really matter that, they're super teachers because they're teaching everything, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It's hard. So how can you, like, have a student that is a non-read student in third grade? How can you get them from not reading at all, not doing any math, to at the end of the year passing the STAR test?
Yeah, you're right.
It's not possible. It's not possible. I can understand that, yes, they need to work through the school year, yes, they're gonna get better, but not to that point.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah,
impossible.
and you're right. But you know what, you said something, go ahead, Ms.
I
Maya.
have noticed also, like, coming from fourth grade, that they have way more absences.
In third grade?
Yes.
Ah,
Yes.
Yeah, we have a lot.
Because they still see them like younger, and they say, it's okay, miss a day, 2, 3. I have noticed that. Yes.
and you know what, that'd be interesting to see, what's the difference of absences in third grade and fourth and fifth. Cause you're right, they still see them as a little kid, and oh, you don't feel good, okay.
I have noticed that coming from fourth, like, the absences are way more.
Way more in third grade, okay. So, you mentioned something about the gap. Yes. Yes, there's huge gaps, so we already know that, we're working kind of backwards to kind of fill those gaps, right? And it just, what the whole data process makes it a little easier is that, okay, as soon as the kiddos come in, that first assessment, what are the gaps? We already know they're non-readers, we have a lot of non-readers. So it's like, okay, how do we get these kiddos to read, so that way they can hopefully, by the end of the year, maybe not be at a master, but hopefully getting too close to that approach, right? Okay, go to the next one. So here, this is fourth grade, but I wanted you to see, I know it's a little, aquí se ven bien chiquititos, but look at yours. It's hard with the colors, but I wanted you just to kind of look at the trends of our fourth graders, because you release them and they go to fourth grade, but look how they started, 3 years ago, and then 2 years ago, and then 1 year. So that's how the data is. This is like, actually it's 4 years. So 4 years ago, 3 years ago, 2 years ago. What do you guys notice?
So we went up and then we started going down again.
Down again.
Yes, again, so closing the gaps. We see a lot, and these are by subgroups. So we have, I showed you our SPED, and then our economically disadvantaged, which are the blue, our EBs, and then Hispanic in white. So again, if you notice in the trend, como que
Todos subieron,
Yeah.
in general,
they went up
but then we went
3 years
down.
ago, and then again, there's that big decline. Okay, and this is powerful because again, it's showing us, look at the groups that did the huge decline. Which groups do you guys think it is?
Emerging bilinguals,
Emerging bilinguals, again.
Hispanic.
Which if we go back, how many kiddos were emerging bilingual?
100,000.
That's about almost half of our population at that time. Okay, so again, like the focus, which group are we really, which subgroup do we really have to target are those emerging bilinguals, which we have them